What's up, everyone, and welcome to another episode where we're going to discuss Magento back in the news. A few days ago, we talked about people using old versions of Magento 1.0, which is end of life, and that led to credit card skimmers being installed on over 500 e-commerce websites. Now, if you missed that episode, the link is above. In this episode, we're going to focus on a dangerous zero-day remote code execution vulnerability affecting Magento version 2. Now, this vulnerability affects both Magento and Adobe's commerce platform, and is so bad that Adobe had to release an emergency fix. Now, I hope you'll watch the full episode, but in case you already know the story, you can skip directly to my insights at the end of the episode, right from the timeline below. For the rest of you, let's go through the story together and see what we can learn to protect ourselves and others.
Oh, drat these computers. They're so naughty and so complex. I could pinch them.
So, Adobe issued an emergency fix on Sunday, and e-commerce websites should update ASAP to avoid card skimming attacks and other problems. A zero-day remote code execution bug in the Magento 2 and Adobe Commerce platform has been actively exploited in the wild, Adobe said, prompting an emergency patch to roll out over the weekend. Now, remote code execution is a cyber attack whereby an attacker can remotely execute commands on someone else's computer. Remote code executions usually occur due to malicious malware downloaded by the host and can happen regardless of the device's geographic location. The security vulnerability bug, CVE 2022-24086, is a critical affair, allowing pre-authentication RCE, or remote code execution, arising from improper input validation. It scores 9.8 out of 10 on the CVSS vulnerability severity score, but there is one mitigation factor. An attacker would need to have administrative privileges in order to be successful. It affects versions 2.3.7-P2 and earlier, as well as 2.4.3-P1 and earlier of both e-commerce platforms, according to the advisory. So that's both the Magento 2 and the Adobe Commerce platforms. Congratulations, you're doing a great job by wanting to learn about this zero-day Magento version 2 remote code execution bug and by watching my episode about it. I appreciate your support. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to my channel and smashing the bell to be notified when I upload new episodes where I give you insights into the newest, important cybersecurity news stories like this one. With my insights, you can be better prepared to protect your company, your family, and yourself against these and other cyber attacks. So, hit the subscribe button now and let's continue to learn about this story together. If you're running Magento 2.3 or 2.4, install the custom patch from Adobe ASAP, ideally within the next few hours if you haven't already, of course. If you're running a version of Magento 2 between 2.33 and 2.37, you should be able to manually apply the patch, as it only concerns a few lines of code. And if you're running Magento 2.3.3 or below, you're not directly vulnerable. However, SanSec still recommends manually implementing the given patch. SanSec noted on Monday that the bug came to light on January 27th and that this vulnerability has a similar severity as the Magento shoplift vulnerability from way back in 2015. At that time, nearly all unpatched Magento stores globally were compromised in the days after the exploit publication. So now that this is public, you can expect the attacks to increase. Indeed, updating is important for online merchants. The Magento group famously targets unpatched versions of Magento, in particular, looking for a way to plant credit card skimmers on the checkout pages of e-commerce websites. The threat actor Magento, which is actually a consortium of many different card harvesting subgroups, consistently evolves its skimmers to be more effective and efficient at evasion as well. For instance, in November, it added an extra browser process that uses the WebGL JavaScript API to check a user's machine to ensure it's not running on a virtual machine, thus evading researcher detection. Last week, SanSec reported a wave of skimming attacks targeting more than 500 sites. Again, that's the episode I did the other day for you. In particular, those using outdated and unsupported Magento 1 implementations. Further data from Source Defense found as many as 50,000 to 100,000 sites that are still using the end-of-life Magento 1. Magento and other e-commerce platforms have a long history of vulnerabilities. Running an e-commerce website on an outdated and unpatched platform is like driving your car without your seatbelt on, said Ron Bradley, Vice President Shared Assessments, via email. The driver is thinking, the store is right around the corner, by the time I put on my seatbelt, I'll be there, plus I don't want to get wrinkles on my clothes. So what can we learn? Well, patch. Immediate response, if you're using Magento and have not yet done it, is make sure you install this patch. Fortunately, this issue was found by Magento's internal security team before widespread exploitations could be identified. So kudos to them for doing internal testing. Now that being said, they report that the vulnerability is already being exploited in very limited numbers. Now that the public, and by extension the attackers, have been made aware, we can expect threat actors to ramp up their attacks very quickly. Most website compromises that we see sort of on the web are opportunistic. That is, attackers will exploit any and all websites that they can identify with a particular vulnerability, usually in automated fashion. Now, e-commerce website compromises, on the other hand, are, in contrast, increasingly targeted attacks. Threat actors spend a lot more time crafting well-hidden payloads in order to maximize the number of compromised credit card details they can steal from a victim website. So instead of going, hard and fast and trying to infect as many as possible, they're sort of going more targeted so that they can get the maximum amount out of the exploit. Now, sometimes payloads are even crafted that are tailor-made to specific websites if the attackers deem them a valuable enough target. This vulnerability is a great example of the ever chaotic state of website security. Software deemed safe one day can be a huge liability the next. Website owners need to stay ever vigilant to protect their websites from threat actors and ensure that they're staying on top of security patches and other updates, including, subscribing to that software provider's alerts, etc. Another way to do that is to subscribe to my channel, where I give you daily updates on the newest cybersecurity stories, like this one. With that, I say thanks again for watching. Don't forget to share and subscribe if you haven't already, and smash the bell if you haven't already, and I'll see you on the next episode. Take care.